Hello friends, I'm Anuj Paul. Welcome to my channel GyanWithAnuj. Gyan means knowledge in Hindi language. I started this channel to share knowledge and experiences with you all and hope you can relate to this and benefit from the same. This is part 2 of the video about transitioning to people manager role. Uh, Part 1, the link I will put in the description so you can watch it there. In part 1, I talked about three aspects to excel in the people manager role. First is knowledge depth, second, passion for growing people, and third, providing constructive feedback. Today, I will start with a key aspect that I feel is least talked about. But in my experience, I find this a very necessary skill. It's about branding your team's work. You, as a leader, as a manager, has to be the brand ambassador of your team. Your team may be doing very good work, but are you really showcasing and highlighting it at the right time, at the right place? It is very important so that the good work of the team is recognized and don't go unnoticed. That can lead to demotivation. Also, sometimes one or two instances of some issues or outages may create a wrong impression of the team. As a manager, it's expected that we work as brand ambassador to correct that impression by regularly showcasing the good work that the team is doing. Now, this doesn't come naturally, especially to us technology leaders. We're not very good at selling. So, we need to put an effort to learn, build, and maintain the brand for our team. Next key aspect that I want to talk about is true for any role, not just people manager role, and it's about being ready to unlearn and adapt. In my opinion, this is key for the manager's role, as the working styles, ethos, practices are continuously and fast evolving. Today, individuals are much more career aware than maybe 10, 15 years ago. As a manager, it's critical to understand the expectation of the team, what they expect of their manager. What worked for me as a manager 10 years back, if I follow the same practices and approaches today, it may not be received in the same way. Some typical examples are being flexible with remote work versus being in office, fixed versus flexible working hours. Things have evolved over time. So I think adapting and, more importantly, being flexible to unlearn and approach with a completely fresh perspective is key to continuously succeed. The next skill, in my experience, is the toughest to do, especially when we are transitioning from an IC to a manager role, or even as we grow as a leader and transition from a manager to a manager of managers role. It's to decide between do versus delegate. Now, delegation, empowerment, trusting the team are typical terms that we hear to be a good manager, to be a good leader. But in my experience, it's not that easy to do that. The difficult part I find is to let go. And when I say let go of the control, let go of that fear of failing. And this happens especially if you are an expert in the subject or in the domain. As an expert, you want always want to be there in the thick of things. You always have that urge to individually contribute, if I may say so. And that doesn't allow you to let go. You become a blocker, and obviously the team doesn't get the right opportunities, and you are perceived as not trusting the team. But it's not actually about not trusting. As I said, it's about letting go that fear of failure. Now, once we see our role as a support role and as navigators, in my experience, we get okay with failures. Our role is to guide the team to succeed, but at the same time, be the support to handle the failures and not always stop the failures. And once we start doing that, we start becoming good at delegating, right? So, next skill is something that I saw many are pretty good at naturally, and some are not. It's about ability to say no. The manager role is a multitasking role, right? Managing multiple threats at any given time. So it becomes crucial to be able to prioritize tasks and therefore say no to some tasks. Now, saying no doesn't mean we are rejecting. It simply means, given the time constraints, it doesn't make the cut at that point in time. So, from my experience, we should have full intent to support and help. And if still not able to accommodate, it's completely okay. And one way to show that intent is to try to find alternatives, find someone to delegate, or try to do trade offs with other tasks. Once the requester sees the intent, and when you are still not able to accommodate, it doesn't become an issue, right? It's completely okay. Same goes for meetings. We often hear and say, today whole day went in meetings, we didn't get time to work. Now this statement, in my opinion, is a solution itself. If a meeting doesn't felt like work, that is a good enough indicator that it's a meeting that could have been declined. So in my experience, the other thing which impacts this skill is the work environment and the team culture. That plays a critical role in developing this skill. Most times we don't say no worrying about the possible consequences, right? So lastly, I think as managers we need to be okay with chaos and learn to thrive in chaos. It's related to managing multiple threats that I mentioned before, and about handling difficult situations, difficult conversations, and conflicts. It's mostly not predictable, and so chaos in that sense, not otherwise. One thing that helped me thrive in the chaos is having the depth. It enables me to switch context quickly and thereby handle more threats. And combining that with learning to say no and effective delegation are some tools to thrive in the chaos. So, recapping, to excel in the people manager role, have knowledge depth, be passionate about growing people, learn to provide constructive feedback, be the brand ambassador for your team, be ready to unlearn and adapt, do effective delegation, learn to say no, and expect chaos and thereby learn to thrive in chaos. Hope both these videos provided a good understanding of the people manager role requirements. And as I said in the previous video, you can map your strengths to these requirements and decide on the career path that seems right at this point in time in your career. Watch the part 1 if you have not. Link is in the description. Thanks for watching, and I will share more such career related and leadership related content. So do subscribe if you find this useful. Bye and have a great day.